So can you see my screen?
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay. So color is an element, and color has the strongest effect of our emotions. It is used to create a mood or an atmosphere of an artwork. For example, this painting by Wassily Kandinsky in 1908. This is entitled Autumn Landscape with Boats, and it is an oil on board. If you could see how he only used colors, lines, and shapes to basically um, make his work. But most what is striking here is that he purely used color without any outlines to make his work. So you can see it from the far, right? You see, if you could put your eyes, or you could back off a little bit from the screen, you could see how clearly you can make out the shapes of a boat on a dock, boats, and some lights maybe from trees or some nearby houses. So there. And what do you think? What makes you feel while looking at this um, painting? Yes, why, Joe?
Somewhat calm, ma'am. Like, if you look at that painting when you're stressed, like it's telling you na it's fine. You're gonna do better if you just keep on calm. Ganun po.
Yeah, this is one of the things. Well, what I see is that it looks like a nightlife, a night kind of life. Like, yeah, it's a little bit calm, but it is also a little bit exciting. So that's what I see. And then you have different kinds of uses of color. You can use color as light. You can use color as tone, as pattern, form, symbol, movement, harmony, contrast, and a mood. So let us enumerate that. Color is a sensation that is stimulated in our brain by different wavelengths of light. Just like what we discussed before, we perceive color because of how light is being processed and reflected through our lenses or our eyes. And this light that we see through our eyes are being sent as a data to our brain and is being processed as color. And that color is a phenomenon and or a sensation that occurs normally every day. So, but one thing that I haven't discussed that is that our eyes have different kinds of receptors. So we have cones, we have rods, and with these receptors, we also have our cones and rods, right? Our cones, I think, is what we use to differentiate color, and uh, our rods are the one who differentiate light and darkness. So our rods would help us see in the dark. But on our cones, we also have different kinds of cones, or uh, let's just use the umbrella term, different kinds of receptors. Some of these receptors will perceive red or stimulate our perception of red. Others are orange, others are yellow, and so on through the color spectrum. And that these are this will help us see different kinds of color. Some people have faulty receptors, and this is how people can have trouble differentiating colors, and we call that as color blindness. So, so that is how color as light would appear. By we can also make that or influence or give that illusion that color is light visually, and that example is made on this picture on the left by Giacomo Balla. So the street light, this is a street light, and it is a poetic impression that represents the physical properties of light. So the center is the light bulb, and then it glows, and then it radiates from the center, and then it dissolves in concentric waves. And it also is visually, you can also see it visually how the light will diminish in intensity uh, as farther the light or the wavelengths reach away from the spectrum. So and that um, when the light is away from the source, it would become different kinds of colors. So that is also true as with color and light. And this is also a representation of how colors, I mean, light um, can change or split into different kinds of colors as it passed through a spectrum. Okay? And this is also another color. This is also another painting by René Magritte. Uh, this is a little bit ironic since the sky is on daylight and on the bottom is it looks dark and there's even a night light or a lamp shade. No, night, a street light, sorry. And there is also a street light open and the streets are dark and stuff, so it's a bit um ironic, and it also holds conflict of opposites in a unified structure. So in this photo, day meets night and dark meets light, and then reality meets imagination. So um, this is an example of surrealism as well. So but you can see how light can change, or how light can change a picture, or how colors can change a picture, right? Am I clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then you could also use color to set the tone of the painting. So one of the examples or one of the art movements that we have is Expressionism. Expressionism is dark colors combined with vigorous painting techniques. Oops, sorry. And then, so with Expressionism, it is more likely about colors and how the artist feels, and then he would try to put that on the canvas or the paper or on the medium. So it is more rather expressing using a medium of paint in a automatic mode or a naturalistic fashion. What comes into mind, he would put it like that. Hold on. So this is by Emily Nold, and it is titled like Lucerne. Lucerne, yeah. And then it is painted more from a memory than an observation. You can see how here there is an expression where the tones and the color appear to faint at distance. And the spot of yellow here can create a setting sun, for example. But um, if you look um, directly or really near, it could just look like some colors being washed or blended into each other. But if you look far away, you could see how it could look like a mountains and sky and a piece of water. So it could color can set tone. It could um, also set the mood as a tone of the painting. And then most importantly, color can also be used as a form. So if you could see here a portrait by Andre Derain. So, so illusion is a form of painting. And then artists traditionally add lighter and darker pigments to the main color of an object in order to render the naturalistic effects of light and shade. So if you could see it here on his painting, you can see how light colors are made um, to symbolize how the light would be reflected or absorbed through the face of the person here, and how the blue is made to represent the shadows, or the dark colors can represent the shadows. So here there are the original color or the blending was very much sacrificed, that the highlights and the shadows is not very clear. But if you can see here with little outlines, with just pure color, you can see that um, there the color itself can provide a form of the figure. And then you also have this. You can use color as a harmony. So this is a painting by Edgar Degas, and if let me just reiterate what harmony is. It is the compatibility of balance or progression of similar elements. So the Blue Dancers here by Edgar Degas, you can see the harmony of the work through the same colors that he used. So you have blue, sky blue, little green, yellow ochre, right? And dark shadows and or high contrast shadows and highlights, right? Do you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So another thing is the use of color as a contrast. Sorry. Sorry. Um, so color can capture the intensity of light and energy, right? But color could also provide a tonal contrast to a painting or an artwork. For example, in this work by William Turner, the burning of um, the burning of wait, why I cannot see because again the burning of the houses of the Lords and Commons in 1835. So if you can see, there is a contrast of light and dark here. So one more of dull and high contrast on the left. So um, so in turn, it because of the contrast, it highlighted the left one, and the eye would naturally go to the left area rather than the right. And it also provides an interesting piece of artwork or or a visual work in a way that you can see how the right one looks calm, but on the left side, it looks very, very um, enraged and fury, anger, or sad at the same time. So that is color as contrast. And then uh, sometimes you could also use contrasting of colors. You have complementary colors, right? You could use this complementary colors or the contrasting of different colors to use as emphasis or to put emphasis on your work. And then you also have color as movement. So your brain can instinctively search signs of rhythm and order to make a spatial sense of the abstract image. It makes use of this impulse to create an impression of movement by combining graduated squares and sequential colors. So this work of art by Victor Vasarely, sorry, I cannot pronounce it well. And this is entitled Vonal KSV, and it is a silk screen print in 1968. If you can see, there is an illusion of a tunnel going to the curve to the right, right? And how this print can also look like it's moving or like it's drawing you in. So that is also an idea or that is also a effect of color. It could give you a sense of movement. So this is the arranged colors from this one. So if you could see how the colors are arranged from dark, light to dark again, and then light to dark and to light again. So the progression of colors helps the eyes or the optical art to look like it's moving. And and it's also interesting that here it looks like it's gradually fading, but actually it's not. It is just one plain color. It's plain color. So I am. This is a painting by Vincent van Gogh, The Potato Eaters. So this was made to as a symbolism for the poverty of those who are in the slums, those in who are not who are not well equipped with life. So this is his masterpiece on from his first period before he moved to Paris in 1886. So here, if you could see how the life of the poor or those who are unprivileged, you could see how he used earthy green and brown to symbolize the closeness, the dependence on land, or of each other to for their survival. The unity of color and texture between the hands, the faces of the peasants and the potatoes and coffee they are sharing. You can see that there is a unity of color, and it makes the whole thing balance, look like balance and harmonies to each other. And also you can also see how the darkness can um, can symbolize the humble abode or the terrible times or the hardship or the sufferings that they are experiencing. And then you also have color as mood. So Vincent van Gogh this is an example of a work by Vincent van Gogh, Sunflowers, in 1888. He, he used yellow to display um, the mood of joy. Can you hear that? So another example is by Pablo Picasso. This is the old guitarist in 1903 to 1904. This is one of his works during his blue period when he was mourning from a death of a friend, of a close friend. And so that's why he painted this. And he used the color blue um, to show or illustrate his sadness. And then this is another color or um or or a mixture of colors. You have green and blue to green, blue, and yellow to reflect peace, and also white. So this is by Gustav Klimt, and it is titled Isle on Lake Attersea in 1902. And this is made in oil and canvas. And then this is a final, I think, final slide. This naman, Edward Munch, this is a famous painting, this green. And if you see how he used the orange and the blue and the swirls to show one's anxiety, and how the scream is, the person is screaming onto the viewer. And it is Edward Munch used the color orange and blue, or the contrast of color and blue, to show one's anxiety. And another thing is noise. This is the last, sorry, this is the last one. And this is another painting by Edward Munch. No, this is not a painting by Edward Munch. Sorry, it is wrong. Anyway, you can see how this painting can also um, indicate or illustrate how the Mexican um, festivals are like. I think this is a mural by Sorry, I forgot. Anyway, so if you can see here how the red and blue and green uh, can or how the painter used a limited palette or a limited color, but the painter also used how um, Diego Rivera, so yun, Diego Rivera used the shapes, the colors to portray the noise of the festival. So that's it. Do you have any questions for me?
No, ma'am.
Okay. What is your question? Some artworks kasi vague yung difference of use of, for example, like Bacchus, does he use contrast or symbol? What is the rubber artwork? Does it matter if the person or the artist um, use colors as a contrast or a symbol? Hindi ba pwede both? So you could use color as how many times you like, or it sometimes it is not that important of how you use color. It's how your meaning or what the message you want to convey that is more important. I'm just telling you how color can be used in different ways, and that sometimes colors, I mean a painting can have different kinds of functions and could use different kinds of colors to to different kinds of colors and have a lot 2 to 3 more functions. So meaning a color can be used as a light and as a tone. It could also used as a mood, for example. For example, um, uh, Vincent van Gogh's sunflower, the yellow sunflower, has uses yellow. It could be also used as a light, and the tone there is yellow, and it could used as a joy. So color has a lot of symbols. It can be implied. It could also be actual. When I say implied, it could be like um, the meaning is not direct. It's not. It's just there. So you could use color as a literal um, actual symbol, or you could also use color as because you just want it or because it is somehow relevant to you, or you can also use color because it is relevant to you in a way that um, it has a lot of uses on this painting and something like that. Is it clear? Am I being clear? Oh, okay. Thank you, Angela, for that question. That is a very good question. Does anyone have other kinds of question or reactions, violent reactions? Yes, Vaija.
This is just even a question. It's just a trivia. I don't know if you know this, but there are some people that are called that are tetrachromats, or you call them super seers. They are the people who are able to see 100 times more than the amount an average human can distinguish a color. So, example, I can only distinguish, uh, let's say, a million of colors or shades, but ma'am can actually distinguish 100 more than that. So,
A
it's
man?
just a trivia.
A man versus a
Ikaw,
woman?
ikaw
No.
po, ma'am.
Some people, yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I just read it from an art book, the
yeah,
Art 101. I don't know if you know that, but it's actually
yeah,
a good book.
yeah, I have that book. That's true. Some people have different kinds of rods and cones, and these are your receptors of colors, right? And some can even have another dimensional um, receptor. They could see colors, see red or violet in during the night instead of black. Or some can even see or parang feel or sense the ultraviolet or blue rays more. So some people are like that. And well, for me, for example, I was since I was a kid, I had a bad eyesight. I had it's a congenital disease when I was a little kid, or I was a baby, and I had a surgery, a couple surgeries too. have my eyes fixed, but today it still remains that my eyes are sensitive to light. So it doesn't mean I can see more colors, but more of I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that, but more of when I see light, sometimes when it becomes too much, my brain would be overloaded with that light and I cannot see, and it would look very, very white to me. So it makes me somehow blind. So it's different to other kind of people. And just like what I said, some people have faulty receptors that result that makes them blind, colorblind. Some people also are likewise like me, have congenital disease, or some have astigmatism, myopia, or some have small eyeballs or short eyeballs that makes them very hard to see. So it is not just how colors are being reflected or being or how people see. So it is more of also sometimes the physical thing of how your eyes can work. So that's why also in visual perception and always say that what we see is different from other people. And I also say this in visual perception too, visual perception, advanced studies, visual studies, our techniques, that what we see might be different with other people because our experiences, our bodies, for example, and our opinions might also be different from one people to another. So that's why. But Baijo, that is a very, very interesting trivia, and yeah, I wasn't able to say it much, but thank you for that. But yes, that is true that some people can um, see other things that other people can't. But likewise, it is also the same as how some people cannot see far away and some people can see far away than normal. And some people are just sick and some people are, have better eyesight than other people. So that's nature. That's nature, and that's also normal. So do you have any more questions? Violent reactions, another trivia, and so forth? If not, I'm going to tell you about your um, exercise. It's getting dark now. Anyway, no more questions? Yeah. Angela says that some people can also hear, feel, and taste colors. They can? Oh, yeah, they can sometimes. Because the eyes, the ears, the nose, the mouth, they're in one head. And sometimes they could be connected to each other. Or, well, I'm not so sure about that. Yeah, it's called synesthesia. How everything could be synthesized. And also in art, we have also that Gestalt theory, wherein, and also in psychology, you have the Gestalt theory, that which means that a part, each part is very important to make up a whole. So that's another kind of theory. You have a lot of theories actually that says that everything is important and it can be combined into a whole one phenomenon. So yeah, but they're different ones. Sorry, I'm blabbering too much, am I? Like I love theories, but anyway, do you have any more questions? Anyone? Suggestions, theories, or violent reactions? None. So okay, I'm going to give you for the next meeting. I'm going to give you different kinds of um activities. On November 19, I'm going to ask you to make a still life, but I want you to tone your paper. Remember what you do with toning? You use a pencil and shade the sorry. You use pencil and shade the, yeah, blending stump. Use a pencil or the lead of the pencil, the lead of the pencil or charcoal to like make your paper, white paper, gray. So you will draw a still life using a tone paper on November 19. And then on November 24, please prepare a dark blue paper. If you can buy a craft paper or a cartolina, just cut the cartolina into 4, and then that's your paper. So you have to you will use also a still life. You will also draw a still life but with a dark blue paper. And then on December 1, it's going to be an asynchronous, and you have to use a craft paper. A craft paper is like a manila paper or a brownish color paper, but it looks like cartolina and much more thicker. Kasi manila paper, it could with shading and all, it could easily tear. So yeah. So okay. Tone paper 1, please prepare a tone paper, a dark blue paper, and a craft paper. And on December 3, we're going to have a final presentation of all of your works. All right. Yes, so you're going to use graphite pencils, but I am allowing you to use also charcoal and a white chalk or a white soft pastel or a white charcoal if you have one. All right. Still black and white, but what changes is how you will use the color of the paper to your advantage. Is it more interesting that way? Guys, visual perception 2 na tayo magka-color. As in colors, color. All right? Okay. Okay. So that's it. If you don't have any questions, you are dismissed. Oh, Vaijo, okay. Do you have any?
Sorry, ma'am. How do we how do I say this? Execute the final paper? Do we have to make a PPT, like compilation out of our works?
I was going to discuss this, but okay.
Okay, sorry.
The final presentation, you have to make a portfolio. So you're going to report it on class, and you're going to tell what inspired you, why you do it like this, how you do it like that. And it's going to be asynchronous, and you're going to put it on slides, and you're going to submit them also on Google Classroom, but you're going to report it. Is that
Okay,
clear?
ma'am. Thank you pa.
Okay. So, any more questions? Yes, Catherine?
So, for that dark blue paper, tama po right na it can be cartolina.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Tapos yung craft paper po, like, it's like Manila paper, right?
It's more like a cartolina pero brown yung color or khaki yung color.
A brownish.
Mm-hmm.
Alright po.
So, any more questions? Yes, I'm going to give you some reference, but wait, let me see. Yes, I'm going to give you some reference. Did I give you a research also? Please. Nga pala, I have to give you a reaction paper. So I'm also going to give you a reaction paper that would be due on December 3. All right? Is that clear? Or wait, the last. Sorry, I'm going to move the reaction paper due to December 8th. The final presentation would be December 3, that would be synchronous, and the final reaction paper or summary of the whole sem of what you learned would be on December 8th. Is that clear? Thank you for reminding me, Angela. You're good. Any more? None? Okay.
None, ma'am.
Class dismissed, guys. Thank you for
Thanks,
coming.
ma'am. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.